So, Lone Rider here, and I want to talk about auxiliary lights. Now, I was looking over my helmet because I'm probably going to have to replace it at some point. It's getting kind of old. They get UV damage and they don't work as well over time if you actually need it. Unfortunately, I haven't, but you still wear them anyway. It's like a knife. You carry it whether you know you're going to need it or not. And that way, if you need it, you're not out of luck. But when I was going over it, I realized one of the things I have on here is auxiliary lights. And a lot of people Well, there's a lot of different theories about how you should light your bike. A lot of people like head-mounted lights. A lot of people like lights on the handlebars. And I've always been partial to both. And I just wanted to throw that out there as something to consider because if you have lights on your helmet, you never have to worry about forgetting them. You should always have lights on your bike anyway. But as a backup, these can be invaluable, especially if you're out and oh crap, I forgot to change the batteries. The headlight doesn't work. At least you have this, and you can still set it to a solid setting or even the low beam or the flashing, indeed, if you're just worried about being seen and you have enough ambient light to actually see the street. Um, but another reason you should consider using this in tandem with lights on your actual bike is that um, the issue isn't so much just being seen by drivers or just seeing the road. It's both. And a lot of times they work in different ways. For example, a light like this by itself might not be enough to see the road, but the light on your handlebars might not be sufficient for, let's say, reading a street sign or, looking at your watch if it doesn't have a luminous dial or turning to look at a driver who's about to run a stop sign so that you can shine the light in his face and maybe get his attention. And when I was commuting by bike way back when, I had to do that a couple times. I'd be going down the road, I'd see the guy looks like he's about to bust a stop sign, and I'd just give him a shot with the light just to get his attention because with early in the morning it's dark, people aren't awake yet sometimes. Now, the problem is to do that with a light mounted on your handlebars. You essentially have to steer at the car, right at the side of the car. That's not going to be good. And so this just gives you more options having both, and it gives you an auxiliary if you forget the lights that are actually mounted on your bike or they don't work for some reason. So just wanted to throw this out there as I was looking at it. Some people say your primary should be on your helmet. Some people say your primary should be on your handlebars. I say both, right? I say both. Have really bright lights on your helmet and have really bright lights on your bike, and that way you don't have to worry about anything. At least generally speaking, you still have to worry because there's all kinds of weirdos out there, and especially if you're riding at night. There's a guy coming back from the bar who's a little tipsy. There's the person on the cell phone that's rushing to get home to make dinner for 5 kids, whatever. But generally speaking, the more lights you have, the better, and the more locations you have them, the better options. And especially if you're going to be commuting by bike, I go to lock my bike up somewhere. Um, I would use the light on my helmet to look at what I was doing when I was, let's say, putting the lock on. I mean, I guess you could unclip the headlight from the front of your bike and hold it like a flashlight, but then you only have one hand to work with. So, it's just something that can be invaluable as a backup, as an auxiliary, and as just something to have in case you need it. Kind of like the helmet itself. So, Lone Rider, out.